Welcome to Forever Sports live coverage of this Currie Cup final round encounter between the Griquas and the Pumas at Watchalong Park in Kimberley. As always, support for this match is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools and have just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you: 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOREVER, that's all in the capitals, at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code FOREVER. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use that code FOREVER, all in capitals, to unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. While the teams have arrived earlier, of course, the Griquas in 3rd and the Pumas in 4th, with Western Province trailing the Pumas by 2 points, sitting in 5th. It would be it could be an historic day for both teams, offering them the chance to break into the playoffs, which start next week with the Currie Cup semi-finals. Of course, it's been some time since we've seen the Griquas and the Pumas in the playoffs, and today gives both sides an opportunity to get over the line. Please feel free to comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe at Forever Sports. Hi there, Latita. Apologies, we've just got some technical issues here. But in the meantime, I think it's such a close one to call. Obviously, both sides coming off wins. The Pumas bagging a 28-19 win over the Cheetahs in Mbombela last week, and the Griquas absolutely tearing Western Province apart, winning 46-25 at this venue last week. It's going to be a really tough one, Latita. Really could go either way. I think maybe home ground advantage and just the that infamously rough turf at Watchalong Park may just work in the Griquas' favour, but you never can tell. Scott Matthew has been very impressive in leading the Griquas to the brink of a Currie Cup semi-final. relied on a number of key players this campaign. Apologies again for these technical difficulties. Any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them and we'll try and get back to you and answer them. Of course, Western Province, the tournament's most successful side, on the brink of missing out on a playoff for just the second time since 2008 in the Currie Cup. John Dobson under a lot of pressure at the moment. Of course, COVID hasn't helped them, but hasn't helped any side. Every side's had to deal with the setbacks brought on by the pandemic. Just such a credit to the Pumas and Griquas who've just ground out and really kept the pace this season. Again, they may have been helped in part by the problems that COVID has caused for the other unions, but just to be in this position, both sides on the brink of a final spot in the playoffs is just phenomenal. And I think every South African rugby supporter should tip their hats to them. No matter what happens today, they've had really good campaigns. Jimmy Stonehouse, again, producing for the Pumas. What a fantastic coach he's been. And of course, his style of rugby is really endeared him to a lot of South African supporters, that attack-minded running game. They'll be up against it in the playoffs. As things stand, the Pumas in fourth, as I said, so they're on 32 points. The Griquas in third with 33 points. So the winner will be guaranteed a spot in the semi-finals, but Western Province on 30 points in fifth. If the Pumas lose and Western Province beat the Sharks in Durban later today, then they will pip the Mbombela-based team to a spot in the last four. But if Western Province lose later today, it won't really matter what the result is at Kimberley. Both the Pumas and the Griquas will then qualify for the playoffs. Swingili Jedizweni, 34-year-old from Stellenbosch, will be the man in the middle today. He's assisted by Timo Ben Kraus. Sachin commenting there, if Province beat the Sharks. Sharks are looking good at the moment, and I tend to agree with you. They will be heavily favoured. Province at the moment, they haven't had the season they would have wanted, but moving into the United Rugby Championship, they'll have room to grow. See those United Rugby Championship fixtures, those URC fixtures have been released. And it looks like the Springboks won't be available for their unions, or for their franchises, I should say, until at least the 7th round of action due to Rugby Championship commitments and then the end of year tour. Teams just about to run onto the field at Tafellager Park here. Been a crazy Currie Cup campaign. The Lions have a bye this weekend. They are 7th and will finish last, 24 points. The Cheetahs on 26. They've been far from the team that we've come to expect from them in the Currie Cup of late. So the Pumas lineup then got Willie Engelbrecht at number 8. It's been talismanic again for his side. Ginter Smits and Eddie Fischer are the halfback pairing. Devon Williams at 15, such a talented player that. And then for the Griquas, Stefan Angra and the veteran George Whitehead, their halfback pairing. It's another strong team for them. Ruan Steenkamp captaining from 8th man. Mox Mkole at loosehead prop, another key player for them. Edward Cater, Sharks bound. Can he end off his Griquas campaign in a semi-final spot? That would be fantastic, a fantastic achievement under Scott Matthew. So here are the permutations. A draw between Griquas and Pumas could see Western Province out of the semi-final race if Province don't do better than a bonus point draw against the Sharks later. If Western Province lose, the last 2 spots in the semi-finals will go to Griquas and Pumas, no matter the result in Kimberley. The Bulls need just 2 points to conclude the season at the top of the table. They take on the Cheetahs later today, and the Sharks need to secure a bonus point win over Province and hope the Bulls do not get 2 or more points versus the Cheetahs if they are to finish top. Given the Sharks' superior points difference over the Bulls, a bonus point win by the Sharks could secure them top spot. Of course, that's out of their hands. Are there Sachin? No, there's no chance for the Griquas or Pumas in the URC. That has been, it's just the South African top 4 franchises that have been given the green light there. As the team's about to take to the field. Pumas captain Peter Janssen van Vuren leading his team out. And now the Griquas, the home side, the 3rd placed side. Ruan Steenkamp, their captain, has been had another industrious campaign. Such a hard grafter and such a hard player. Typical archetypal South African 8th man. Mr. Pather, no, we're not going to show the game. This is just a live watch-along. It is being shown live on SuperSport, channel 211. The game about to get underway here at Tafellager Park. So much riding on this one. It's going to be such a fascinating game. And they're off. Kickoff fielded by the Griquas. Got the ball inside their own 22 now. They'll look to clear. Taking it up through the forwards, trying to better the angle. And Angra hoisted high. Devon Williams unable to field that one for the Pumas, so knocks it on into touch. So the Pumas the Griquas will have the option of taking a line out or a scrum. Opted for the latter. If the Griquas can win the physical contest in this game and nullify the space and the momentum of the Pumas, then they'll certainly have the upper hand and be on the front foot throughout. The Pumas certainly rely on space and winning that battle up front to allow themselves to play that free-flowing game that Stonehouse coaches. So the Griquas will put in. Big scrum from the Pumas, but the Griquas have got it. Taken out to Whitehead and throwing it out now. Wide through the hands. Pumas making a good tackle now, but the ball's loose and penalty to the Griquas. Illegally so, playing the ball on the ground. So the Griquas have a penalty. They're just inside their own half. They'll look to win some good territory now through the boot of Whitehead, kicking for touch. Pumas off feet at the breakdown there. Whitehead finds touch just close by the 10-meter line of the Pumas there. So Griquas' first line out of the afternoon. Of course, their previous meeting on the 2nd of July at the Mbombela, Pumas winning that one 26-22. So the Pumas contesting for that one in the end. It's a scrappy line out, but the Griquas have it now. Angra is going to look to hit it up amongst his forwards. Just directing his forwards in field, but there's some big defense that by the Pumas. And the Griquas don't have much momentum. Pumas competing for everything, it seems, but they've given away another penalty, and this is right in front. So George Whitehead will probably look to take the 3 points here. Build some scoreboard pressure. Again, off feet at the breakdown. Pumas contesting, first of all, putting in a big shift at that first scrum and then competing at the line-out and at the breakdown too. 2 penalties given away now, but obviously they're here to play. Nevertheless, the Griquas will have a chance now to make it 3-0. Trusty boot of Whitehead. What a stalwart he's been for this Kimberley-based side. It's 42 meters out. Does look a tad windy, but it is straight in front. And the strike is good and the kick is good. So that's 3-0 to the Griquas now. First score of the afternoon. The Pumas haven't wasted any time with the kickoff. The Griquas have fielded it just outside their 22. Pumas again competing on the ground. Angra now looking to widen the angle, popping it to his forwards. And Angra hoisted high, just inside their half now. And the Pumas have gathered it, and they've thrown a loose pass, so it's going to be a line out to the Griquas. Just to give you an idea of the Griquas side there. So it's thrown to the back, and the Griquas have fielded it. Ungra's got it now. It looks to give it to another forward pod. And again, Ungra with the box kick, fielded again by the Pumas, who are looking to attack here. Big hit by the Griquas. Double team there. And the Pumas have opted for a kick, and it's a fantastic effort. So the Griquas now will have to use Eddie for sheer. Pumas fly off, putting a fantastic kick through there. Griquas now with a line out on their own 5. Lost plenty of territory now, home side. And the Pumas have stolen the Griquas line out, competing for everything, it seems, here, Jimmy Stonehouse's side. And they're rumbling it up now 5 meters out. They've got some momentum here. Griquas looking a bit disorganized, and they're throwing it wide early on here. It's a big crash right at the center of the park. Quick ball for the Pumas, and it's just knocked on by Eddie Fashia. Unlucky for them, but some good play there by the Pumas. Man, these guys aren't holding back for anything, really taking the game to the Griquas. So Griquas have a chance now with the scrum to clear. But early signs there. Of course, we knew what to expect from the Pumas. So looks like referee Jedazweni wants to check something. He's bringing the sides back. Must have spotted something. Griquas taking the man out from that line out that the Pumas stole. So looks like the Pumas kicking for the corner now. They had that penalty. It's all disciplined that by the Griquas. So the Pumas will have an attacking line out now on the Griquas 5-meter line. It's a fantastic opportunity for them. Thrown at the front for the Pumas. Griquas contesting and winning that early shove. Pumas not trying to set them all, not going anywhere, so they've given it to the midfield and they're crashing it up. A tad disorganized this by the Pumas. Griquas defense holding firm. They've lost a bit of ground, but they've got some momentum now. The men in pink working the Griquas on the blind side, on the right side of the field. Some more big defense from the Griquas. Now the side standing back. Still the Pumas have the ball, another pod. They've got an advantage now. They've opted for a bit of a cross chip kick pass. And a scrappy play from the Pumas. Just going too diagonally at the moment. The Griquas have stolen it, but the Pumas referee will come back for that penalty right in front. Offsides from the Griquas. Just a bit of over-eagerness there from the home side's defense. Now, what are the Pumas going for? Of course, they're going for the line out. So, nearly 9 minutes gone here at Tafellager Park. So the Pumas now with the line out again on the 5-meter line, but this time on the opposite touch. Griquas again defending that well and pushing the Pumas back initially, but they're looking to set the maul now, the visitors. And they're breaking away in the open side there. Another advantage, it looks like, for the Pumas. No. Still got it, though. Griquas defending manfully again. And now it's another penalty. Griquas guilty of conceding a number of penalties inside the red zone. This time it's from Stefan Ungara. And the Pumas are opting again for another line out. Ungara making the tackle and not rolling away. Griquas really trying to slow down the Pumas ball at the breakdown, but doing so illegally at the moment. Pumas attack looking a bit disorganized. Griquas doing well to hold him off, but are giving away those penalties. So again, a line out for the Pumas. And the maul is set. That maul really isn't going anywhere. Griquas have done well to nullify it so far. And the Griquas have done fantastically well there. But the Pumas have broken away. And they've got it just outside the 5 meter now. Again, scrappy. They've got another advantage. Referee surely losing his patience. Yep. Looks like it may be a yellow card here. The referee just having a chat to the captains, telling the Griquas captain Ron Steenkamp that, just warning him that his side's been giving away a number of penalties now inside the red zone. Another line-out throw for the Pumas. Same spot, same side. The driving maul hasn't worked at all so far. Wonder if they'll try some sort of variation now. Pumas pack just in a huddle at the moment. Griquas have set the line out, but the Pumas obviously looking to try something different. And it's an overthrow from the Pumas, and the Griquas have come away with it, but referee blowing his whistle. Looks like and he's lost his patience with the Griquas, and a yellow card has been awarded for pulling down in the line out. That's yet another piece of ill discipline from the hosts. So the Griquas are down to 14 men. 12 minutes gone. As Manchester City make it 4 against Arsenal at the Etihad. For any football fans out there. So now Pumas with a scrum on the Griquas 5 meter. It's going to be a scrum reset. It would be so awesome to see either, hopefully both of these teams next week in the semi-finals against the Sharks or the Bulls. But you'd have to think from what we've seen so far and throughout the season that they may struggle against those two traditional powerhouses. The Bulls and Sharks, much more organized, just the quality, the depth that they have. They will be heavily favored to win those games. And the Griquas have won a penalty from the scrum, so a real let-off. Pumas will be disappointed by that. They've got a one-man advantage. But Mkole of the Griquas, Lucid Propers, obviously produced the fantastic scrumming effort. So the Griquas have cleared now, finally outside of the 22, and they'll have a line out just inside their 10. So just to confirm that it was Ardre Smith of the Griquas who has been seen that yellow card. So the Griquas will have a line out now. And it's overthrown. The Pumas have come away with it. They've got some fantastic momentum on the Griquas 22. This is what they love. They're throwing it wide. They've got some men on the left putting it through the hands. Devon Williams has taken it to touch on the left. It's good cover defense that from the Griquas. They were under pressure there after that overthrown line out. Set pieces of both sides have been pretty average so far. So a line out now to the Griquas. And it's a successful one. They've made a little half break just outside their 22 now. Angro puts boot to ball. He thumped it upfield, and it's well gathered by the Pumas, and they'll look to counter now inside their own half. Devon Williams puts one into the sky for his winger to chase, and it looks like it's just been knocked on there by the Griquas, but the Pumas have reclaimed the ball, and they'll have a scrum. Frantic piece of play, that. So another scrum to the Pumas. The Griquas winning a penalty at the last one. So scrum now. Pumas will put in. It's a big scrum from the Pumas. And the Griquas are pedaling backwards here. And they've got a scrum advantage now, the Pumas. So what can they do with it? Forsheer's got some space and pops the ball on the inside. But the Pumas have just lost that. So they'll come back for the penalty. It's a massive scrum effort from the men from Mbombela. That is one mighty scrum. Springboks will be proud of that one. So they've kicked for the corner again, the Pumas. As we approach the end of the first quarter, 18 minutes gone now. Pumas with another throw in at the line out. And again, they persist with that driving maul. And the Griquas defending it once more. It really hasn't worked for them, but they've got a penalty advantage now, the Pumas. And they've broken to an open side. Another penalty advantage to go with their one-man advantage. The ball's been ripped free, but referee will come back for a penalty. And it looks like he may be going to his pocket again here. The Griquas really are not coping legally with the Pumas at the set piece, at the line-out, that is. Ron Steenkamp called in for another chat. So the Greek was giving away 5 penalties in a row from the 8th to the 13th minute when they were defending inside their own 22 now. In danger of doing so again. Smith still in the bin, got 4 minutes left. The Pumas about to throw in once more. And it's a clean ball. Pumas have got it at the tail. Another driving maul. No variation. Going backwards. And the Griquas have managed to stop the Pumas again at the driving maul. And it could be a turnover here for the Griquas. And it is. Griquas have earned a scrum. Pumas persisting with that driving maul. And it's not paying off for them at the moment. Griquas stopping it legally this time. Coming through the middle there. Fantastic work by their number 5 and number 7. Pumas just perhaps needing to shake things up a bit, shake up the tactics at the line out there. They're persisting with it. They just need to unlock that back line of theirs and just unable to find the right way to do it so far in this game. So the Pumas have boasted 62% of the possession and 87% of the territory so far. You would have thought they would have made more from it. It's still 3-0 to the home team. A man down. Greek was really being let off the hook here. Greek was scrum. It's 20 minutes gone now. A big shove coming in from the Pumas. Greek was under pressure, but managing to get the ball out wide. Under a hell of a lot of pressure from the Pumas, but they've managed to clear through Whitehead, but he hasn't found touch. So Devon Williams of the Pumas now on the halfway line looking to counter. He's got the ball in hand and he passes it out wide. The Pumas have some space on the left, but isolated. Tackled well by the Griquas, and the defense is a tad disorganized here as the Pumas continue to attack. Inside the Griquas 22 now. Fashia throwing a ball intercepted by the Griquas, and the Griquas are away. Eddie Fashia tackled and throwing a chicken wing offload, which was intercepted. Edward Cater now kicking behind the Pumas defense. There's no one at home. And it just evades Edward Cater. Arguably the Griquas standout performer this Currie Cup season, signed by the Sharks. So the Pumas really looking to attack rather frenetically there. Just intercepted by the Griquas, and then end-to-end stuff here. Disorganization from both teams. See, 57% of the match has been played inside the Griquas 22. And the Griquas back to a full complement of players with Smith back on the field. So real let off there for the home side. The Pumas should have made more from that one-man advantage. Griquas with a line out now just outside the Pumas 22, but it's overthrown. And the Pumas have it just inside their 22 now. They'll look to clear. Just taking it up through another forward pod. And Williams scoops it downfield. It's a massive clearance from the Pumas, number 15. Devon Williams, who scored that fantastic try at Super Rugby Unlocked. Incredible individual score. Kicking and regathering and blitzing. It was against the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. Ran about 70-odd meters to score. Great player. So line out Griquas. Contested again by the Pumas. But the Griquas have it now. They've set the driving maul. And they've got a penalty advantage. And the ref has blown for the penalty. Pumas collapsing that maul. So Whitehead will look to touch now. Still 3-0. Sachin Bangaroo saying the Pumas looking a bit static. The Pumas haven't been able to win the battle up front, like I was saying earlier, which was such a key component, arguably the key foundation platform for a team like theirs, who bases their game on attack. And the Griquas have mostly illegally, but nonetheless nullified the Pumas at the set piece. And so whenever the Pumas have had the ball, usually off a Griquas knock-on, or they've looked rushed and hurried, and the Pumas haven't looked composed and clear with what they wanted to do with ball in hand, which is their strength. Haven't had much time on the ball, and they seem to have forced things. As the Griquas rumble up now through a driving maul, 5 meters from the Pumas try line now. Pumas with much to do here. Griquas slowly starting to take control of the game, if not the scoreboard, but now it's a penalty to the Pumas, or a scrum rather, for the Pumas. Griquas unable to use that ball off the back of that maul. So again, a draw between these two teams could see Western Province out of the semi-final race if they're unable to do better than a bonus point draw. So much to play for in this one. Scrum now, Pumas ball on their own 5. And it's a penalty for the Pumas. Griquas collapsing in there, the front row. So the Pumas will look to clear now through Fashia. Ball travels a long way in that Northern Cape air. And Currie guilty of collapsing in here. Front ranker. So as it stands, then again, no matter the result today, if Western Province don't manage a bonus point draw against the Sharks in Durban later, Griquas and the Pumas will be making Currie Cup semi-finals. It's a scrappy lineup, but the Pumas have come away with it again. Griquas offside. Whitehead shooting up there, or looking offside. And now Fashia goes to the air. Edward Cater, the Greek, was fielding that one and looking to run. Man is deadly with ball in hand, but it's been stripped. And the Pumas again have a chance to counter-attack here. Griquas' defense looking out of sorts, and some fantastic offloading from the Pumas, and they're going to score in the corner here. Ooh! Looks like the Pumas have managed a fantastic score. Some great offloading from them in the center of the park. And it's been awarded. It came out of nowhere, but it shows the type of what they can do, what they've struggled to do so far. TMO looking, oh, he could just be out there. TMO just looking. See if the Pumas have grounded the ball. It's a tight one. It's a fantastic finish. If it has been awarded. That's Tapiwa Mafura. And the team is still checking it. It's literally inches we're talking about here. If Mafura has scored this, it is a fantastic finish. We're talking about millimeters. Could be a single millimeter. So tight, this one. So a Cater strip there. Pumas opting for a kick downfield, and the Greek was running it up again through Cater, but he had the ball stripped off him from Simon Vestra, the Pumas hooker. And from there, the Pumas throwing some fantastic offloads through for sheer and going through few sets of hands before being finished off in the corner. But TMO is just checking this one. And the try has been awarded. So fantastic, opportunistic, counter-attacking try. Finished off by Tapiwa Mafura. That's what the Pumas can do. Great passing. Little shimmy and finish on the outside for the New Nation Pumas. So Eddie Fisher with the chance to make it 7-3 now as we approach the half-hour mark. And the kick is wide out to the right, so it'll stay 3-5. So the Pumas now fielding the Griquas kickoff and clearing through Fashia, again looking for territory. They've dominated it so far. Griquas did well not to concede when going a man down, but haven't really looked like scoring, apart from one attacking line out inside the Pumas 5 meters. So Griquas are just going backwards here and throwing it in quickly. Pumas really winning the territorial battle at the moment. And the Greek was looking to run it outside their own half, but eventually cleared by Cater, who finds touch. And the Pumas will look to take it quickly. It's end-to-end stuff here at Tafellager Park. The Pumas now on the halfway line. I've got some men on the blind side, on the right-hand side there. putting it through the hands and breaking away. And it's another offload, fantastic offloading play by the Pumas. And they've just bagged their second try. In the space of, 2 minutes? Geez, wonderful play that by the Pumas. And Shane Kirkwood, his third Currie Cup try this season. It's going to be checked. That's the type of rugby the Pumas have been playing this season. They looked hasty at the beginning. They looked like they were forcing it, rushing it, but their offloads are coming off now. Griquas guilty of disorganization on defense and just giving the ball away cheaply and not really doing too much with it. Pumas winning that territory game. Oh, but it looks like the Pumas have just stepped out in the build-up to this try, so it's not going to be awarded. So a let-off for the Griquas again. No, he's in touch there in the build-up. So that try will be chalked off. Nevertheless, some wonderful play there from the Pumas, just showing what they can do. Half an hour gone, so it'll be a line out to the Griquas. Griquas not being able to hang on to the ball for prolonged periods and not being able to do too much with it. Griquas, that is. So line out to the Griquas, scrappy again. Pumas contesting, but the home side's come away with it, and they'll get another opportunity to clear. Halftime can't come soon enough for Scott Matthews' team. They just need to work on their game plan and what it is they actually want to, how they want to control this game, because at the moment, the Pumas are just happy to either run back some wayward kicking from the Griquas, or else kick it deep and accurately and opt for a line out inside Griquas half. So the Pumas with another line out here, and they've won it. They've got a bit of room here. Eddie Fisher taking it into contact. Not too many options for him. Scrappy pass from the Pumas, and they've knocked it on. The Griquas coming away with it. They've got some space on the right wing here. Cutting inside are the hosts. Got some momentum, and Keita, another carry from the left winger. But the ball's loose, and the Pumas have picked it up. Scrappy at the breakdown from both teams. And again, the Pumas opting for that territory game, kicking it long. And the Griquas will have to take another line out inside their 22. So just a bit of history for those watching. The Pumas, this is according to Rugby 365, the Pumas, or Southeastern Transvaal, as they were once known, have only once before reached the Currie Cup playoffs, when they lost 6-49 to Northern Transvaal in Pretoria in 1980. So a lot riding on the result of the team this season. Griquas, of course, having won the tournament 3 times, last time coming in 1970. Griquas carrying it up. And again, looking to clear. I found a good touch this time. Not enough time for the Pumas to take it quickly. Pumas with a man down. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Forever Sports. Just a break and play with this Pumas player down. So with this break and play, just take another look at the score in the Premier League. Man City hosting Arsenal, and the Citizens 4-0 up there at the Etihad Stadium. 82 minutes gone. Grant Xhaka, of course, sent off from 35 minutes. Arsenal in all sorts of trouble this season. Yet to score a goal this Premier League season. This is the third round. Back to the rugby, and it's scrappy on the floor again, but the Pumas have managed to come away with it. And it's a wide pass that from Williams, so the Griquas will have another line out. If these teams don't clean up their breakdown, which has been a bit of a problem for them this season. But the semi-finals next week, should these sides participate, definitely won't be easy. The Bulls and the Sharks will make them pay at the contact point on the floor for any messy ball. So the Griquas again now with the tackle off this line out. Pumas dropping off tackles. Griquas on the front foot here. Stefan Unger throwing it out now to Whitehead, who slings it on wide. Pumas guilty of missing several tackles with 5 minutes to go until the break. Pumas taking out Unger at that breakdown illegally, so the Griquas will have a penalty and perhaps a chance to make it 6-5. Steenkamp just deciding on the best move. And Whitehead's going to have a shot at goal. So 35.5 minutes gone here. Greek was really looking good on that attack, but the Pumas coming in from the side. Haven't seen too much from the Griquas on attack. Of course, Edward Keita always looking to take it to the opposition when he manages to field back kicks. So now Whitehead, 51 successful kicks from 60 attempts this season. That's an 85% success rate for George Whitehead of the Griquas. That's a phenomenal achievement, that, from the veteran. And the strike looks good. It's just pulled off to the left. So the Pumas led off. It'll stay 3-5 with halftime approaching. And it looks as though Ferran Torres has made it 5-0 at the Etihad over Arsenal. Don't know if there are any football fans watching. So Greek was running back that kick from the Pumas and getting over the advantage line again. The Pumas guilty of missing a few tackles late in this first half, giving the Pumas, the Griquas, some momentum. And the home team's carrying it up again. Unger now breakdown just outside of the Pumas 22. Blitz defense from the Pumas again. shutting down the Griquas attack and catching them behind the advantage line. So they've lost some ground here. Unger quick with his service, and Cater's on the ball now. Such a hard runner. This characteristic headband. And the Griquas have lost it forwards. The Pumas have come away with it now, just inside their 10. And it's punted downfield from them, but well fielded by the Griquas. So end-to-end stuff here. Put up in the sky by the Griquas and fielded by Williams again. Such a fleet-footed player, Williams. Pumas now working up just inside the Griquas half. Got a bit of space to work with here. Tampura, the man who had the try disallowed, taking it up on the left. Back inside for the Pumas now. Looking much better with ball in hand. They've created a bit of space on the right here. Griquas defense struggling to cope at the moment, but they've come through and they've attacked that breakdown fantastically well. It's a good contest, says the referee, and the Griquas might have turned it over here. And it's a turnover, so that's a third one that of the afternoon for the Griquas. This is a very, very close contest. In all facets, Pumas winning that territory, but unable to get through the Griquas defense, only managing the one score, and they've had a number of opportunities. Griquas contesting at the breakdown, Pumas contesting at the line out. The scrums have been evenly matched. 30 seconds now until halftime. But the second half really could go either way. Matthew Dixon says, with the new URC, this could be a great opportunity for the Currie Cup to change its format. Tournament could become like a local Champions Cup with all 14 local teams and 2 guest teams, such as Namibia and Georgia, or the Jaguares, or a Jaguares 15. 4 groups of 4 teams playing each other home and away with quarter semis and a grand final. It's not a bad idea that Matt Dixon, as the Griquas put into touch through Cater. So half-time then at Tafelaga Park, it's 3-5 to the Pumas. Stay with us at Forever Sports as we will cover that second half, and it really could go either way. So please stay with us. So the second half about to get back underway here. We're about to get underway. 3-5 to the Pumas. Such a close game. The second half won't be any different. And both teams vying for a place in the Currie Cup semi-finals. The Pumas, formerly Southeastern Transvaal, only qualified for the Currie Cup playoffs once before. Way back in 1980. And the Griquas, three-time champions, of course, looking to qualify for the playoffs for the first time since 1998. Plenty to play for here. As the game is about to get back underway. Of course, if the Sharks beat Western Province later, then both of these teams will qualify. The loser of these teams, should Western Province beat the Sharks, will miss out. Pumas fielding that Griquas kickoff and away from Devin Williams now. Hasn't found touch, so Griquas have an opportunity to counter-attack, and Whitehead puts the ball into the sky again. Be interesting to see if the Griquas change any of their tactics this half. At first half, they didn't make Pumas dominated territory. The Griquas didn't really have too many ways back into the contest, it seemed. Didn't have too many ideas. The Griquas now with a line out. Pumas again contesting. They contested every line out in that first half, if I'm not mistaken. Griquas opting for a driving maul, but going nowhere. Just inside the Pumas half. And the Pumas will have the put-in for a scrum. Griquas unable to make anything of that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Forever Sports and comment. And we will try and get back to you. Again, this game is brought to you by Manscaped. And you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code FOREVER. That's all in capitals. I repeat, FOREVER at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping. Unlock your confidence with Manscaped. Pumas with a put-in. Taking over the advantage now on the Pumas. And again, opting for a deep kick into Griquas territory. And it's another great one by Williams. And deep inside the Griquas 22. Sorry, that's for Shear rather. For Shear and Williams both really propagating that territory game for the Pumas in that first half. Pumas have stolen the line out from the Griquas, unsurprisingly, and they're putting it through the hands here, right on the 22 of the Griquas. And they've been awarded a penalty, not releasing. So the Pumas have the chance to make it 8-3, right in front of the posts on the Griquas 22. Not a good start from the Griquas, not what they would have wanted. But again, the Pumas' territorial game causing the home team all sorts of problems. So Eddie Fisher with the chance to make it 8-3. And does so. Griquas will need to find the antidote to this territorial game. And the Pumas field the kickoff. Then from Mpumalanga, looking really good here. And Fisher clears. Another line out for the Griquas. You can be sure the Pumas will look to contest this one as well, even if it is inside their own half. I've been asked about a final score prediction. At the moment, I don't see if the Griquas don't do something to get themselves into this game and use possession more wisely, I don't see them being able to take this one. I think the Pumas will continue to do what they have been doing, and they as well should have been rewarded more in that first half. But the way things are going at the moment, Sashin, I have to say that Pumas are looking reasonably good here. Line out Griquas. Overthrown, but picked up by the home team, and it's worked out well for them. But the Pumas have turned it over on the ground again. And the Pumas will have a scrum when Griquas knock on. So just a break and play. Pumas scrum, just outside their 22. So Pumas have been awarded the penalty, and they've kicked it long through for sheer. Just managed to find a great touch. Again, the Greek was guilty of conceding a scrum penalty. Oli at the moment battling in the front row. Pumas not in any rush to get their line out going. They know they're in control of this game. Griquas, of course, did have that penalty late in the first half, which was missed by George Whitehead, but taken up strongly by the Pumas now. They've got some momentum, but that offload has just been picked up by the Griquas, who have cleared well, and they've struck it long downfield. Pumas find themselves back inside their own 22 with Cater chasing. Looks like Williams is on it now. And the Pumas exchanging passes inside the 22 before clearing it away again. 47 minutes gone. So Griquas line out throw. It's a long one again, and it's scrappy. And they've just managed to hold on. But the Pumas have ripped it free. And the Pumas have got the ball now, and they've got a bit of space on the left if they can evade the tacklers. And Williams puts a little grubber through inside the 22, and the Pumas are chasing here. And it's going to be checked. It looks like Pumas may have knocked the ball on, but it has been grounded by the visitors. So there could be another score on for the Pumas here, but the referee will definitely go back and check the build-up. It's gone upstairs, the TMO. So just waiting then on the word from the TMO. And they've gone back earlier to see if the initial Pumas rip from the Griquas player was a knock-on. Looks like it may well be. So there's a lot to check here for the TMO, but it could be chalked off pretty early on if Pumas were deemed to have stripped the ball forward. Question is try or no try. It's a great option taken by Williams there with the stab through. Such a good player. So the grubber through from Williams was chased hard by the Pumas, with the Griquas player seemingly fielding it and losing it backwards, only for Pumas player over the try line to dot the ball down. But what the TMO really seems to be checking is earlier on the initial turnover, whether the Pumas player had ripped the ball and whether that ball had gone forward in the build-up. So it looks like they've come up with a decision, and it's been disallowed. They've gone back for that knock-on from that rip. So the Griquas will have a scrum. See Kevin Weatherall Thomas there commenting on Manchester City's performance earlier today. Yeah, Kevin, 5-0 win for the Citizens. I'm a Sky Blue myself, have been since 2010. So good performance by them. But again, Arsenal, the Gunners, at this point, really not sure what to make of them. But nevertheless, we'll take it. Ben Rariti asking your thoughts on the All Blacks versus South Africa. Just Ben, what do you mean? Are you talking about the tests coming up later on in Queensland, in Brisbane? What are you referring to exactly? What? Yeah, Sachin, that's a long time, hey? I've been loyal. I was there from the FA Cup win in 2011. Griquas was trying to make something of this and opting for a chip-in field, which has been scrappy, but it's come off for them. They've got an advantage now just beyond Pumas 22. So Griquas was holding on to possession a bit longer here, which has been good for them, and they've been released here by Whitehead releasing his midfield. And they've got a penalty inside the Pumas 22, so it'll be interesting to see what they opt for. It's right in front of the sticks. And they've gone for the 3 points, so Whitehead will take another stab at goal. Griquas was looking so good when they've managed to be patient on attack and keep ball in hand, really causing the Pumas defense a bit of trouble. Ben Rariti asking about the upcoming tests between the Springboks and the All Blacks as George Whitehead looks to make it 6-8. And does so. So we've got a real contest on our hands here. Just back to that All Blacks versus Springboks, those test matches to be played. At the moment, Ben, I am a South African supporter, but I've watched the All Blacks play this year, and their top five, or should I say their front row and their back row, don't look to me as if they have the ability to cope with the South African pack. I am backing the Springboks to win both of those test matches in Brisbane. I don't think that the All Blacks will be able to cope up front with the Springboks unless Foster has thought of something totally out of the box. Because again, that New Zealand backline just phenomenal as the Pumas break here, just outside the Griquas 22, some front foot ball. But I don't see the All Blacks beating the Springboks this year. It's a very different All Black team to what we've become accustomed to under. And the Pumas have broken away, and they've scored, as I've been talking about the Springboks. So it's 6-13 now. Fantastic play by Sebastian de Klerk. Great finish on the right wing. 52 minutes gone. So the Pumas heading straight back off the Griquas penalty. Some great work on the right touchline from de Klerk, handing off the Griquas cover defense. They have an opportunity to make it 15-6. That's a big blow for the Griquas. They were just getting back into the game. They'd put the ball through their hands there, and they looked pretty good on attack. But the Pumas looking at cut above, of course, they did win the match, the reverse fixture between these two sides at the Mbombela earlier this season in July. They won that one, I think it was about 28-22 on the 2nd of July, if I'm not mistaken. So Pumas know how to beat this Griquas team. Of course, the Griquas failing to win a single game in the Currie Cup last season. So they've done fantastically well to bounce back, but they look up against it here as Fouché takes an attempted goal, but some seriously strong wins, pushing his attempt wide. So it will remain 13-6. And the Pumas will be hard to stop from here. So the Pumas running it back again. Look like they've got a bit of zip now. So the Pumas looking to clear inside their own 22. And the Griquas hoisting it high as well. They've got a lot to do here now, the home team, and they've managed to win a line out. Great kick chase that. And Devin Williams has been taken out after fielding that high ball. So the Griquas will have a line out in a good position. So I'm just looking, the Griquas with a line out on the Pumas 5 now. Can they get back into the game here? The Pumas have stolen miraculously from that line out. As the Griquas look to set at the back, Pumas have ripped it away like a thief in the night. That's really well done by the visitors, and the Griquas will be frustrated by that missed opportunity. They need to hold on to possession and get back into this game. But at the moment, the Pumas are just managing to hold them off and clearing time and again. Going back to Sachin Bangaru's question about George Whitehead up there with the most Currie Cup caps. Of course, the most, as the Griquas make a full front row change, the player with the most Currie Cup games of all time was the great Jacques Boertes of the Sharks, perhaps the unluckiest player never to represent South Africa. He played 26 times for the Pumas and 129 times for the Sharks, earning 156 caps in total. Absolute legend of the game, particularly here in Durban. I'm a Sharks supporter. But Whitehead he is not on this list. Yet to play 100 caps. As the Pumas break right, making some good ground. Most matches, the top 3 are Boertes, second is Louis Strydom, and then Helgaard Muller and Rudy Versaghi rounding out top 4. So it's 57.5 minutes gone here. Still 6-13 to the Pumas, who've managed to work it through the phases now. They're on the halfway line of the just slow ball, bit of indecision. I think both teams really playing as pragmatically as possible, just trying to win the game, not so much as the Pumas knock the ball on again. Just a win at all costs mentality from both sides. Griquas have got a penalty now, another breakdown penalty given away by the Pumas. It's for sheer. Sean O'Farrell asking, as a Sharks fan, what do I think of playing Munster in the opening round of the URC? I don't know. I think that Munster will have their Ireland internationals with them at that stage, if I'm not mistaken, as the Griquas look for touch. The Sharks, like I said earlier on this broadcast, the South African sides won't have their Springboks available to them for the United Rugby Championship until at least the 7th round. Griquas taking a shot at goal here from the halfway line, or close to it. Nope, going for the line out. But coming back to that question, it may be difficult for some of the South African teams early on. That's no excuses that I'm making. I think it will be a good contest, but at the moment, from what I see, probably go for Munster winning that one at Thomond Park. But a lot can happen between now and then, depending on who's playing, what the teams are like. But I'm really excited for this URC. I think it's for this URC. It's a big step forward for South African rugby. Really excited to see how our franchises do. Because Super Rugby, in my opinion, was dead a long time. That was a product that really had no real, had lost all its appeal a long time ago. So good for South African rugby. As the Pumas, again, have stolen Griquas' line out here. They now have the ball inside their 22, taking it up through pods of forwards, and will look to clear again. Griquas set piece, man. Really let them down today. Pumas contesting everything, not giving them any room, just keeping the pressure on. Sachin talking about different conditions. I'm not sure how much the northern weather will suit us giving the ball air. To be honest, Sachin, I think that giving the ball air in northern conditions and that weather is probably even more effective than in the southern hemisphere. That's why a lot of those northern teams play, particularly in the top 14, and certainly will, in my opinion, suit the weather and the conditions there. Whether or not all of the South African franchises opt for that game plan is another thing entirely. The Bulls will look to utilize that, but in terms of the Sharks and other franchises, not so sure yet. As the Griquas take it up just outside the Pumas 22. Sean O'Farrell talking about Leinster Munster. Haven't Munster only won once against Leinster in the last like eight outings or something? There was until recently there was a huge hold that Leinster had on Munster. I think they only won their Rainbow Cup, if you can even call that well, it was a win. So the Griquas keeping the ball in hand here, but the Pumas have just stolen it. So we've got just 1/4 of the game left, 61 minutes gone. Pumas with an advantage on their own 10-meter line. Pumas opting for the air. Griquas fielding it well, but it's a poor pass, and the Griquas are under all sorts of pressure here. Edward Cater comes away with it. Does well to hang on to the ball. Griquas again inside their own 22. They're going to need a big final quarter here. Pumas with a penalty inside the Griquas 10. Decision time for them. Griquas showing their frustration there. Just unable to really get a firm foothold in this game. They've been sent back time and again by the Pumas with that kicking game. Just unable to cope. And frustration again really getting to them now. Pumas are looking for another shot at goal to make it 16-6. That's a 10-point buffer. Eddie Fashia going for it, but the wind is really making his life difficult. 70% kicking success rate for him this season. But it looks good. Just under. Just didn't have the distance. I think the wind played a big role in that not going over. He certainly had the accuracy. So the Pumas with a throw in 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes to play. Don't forget, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code FOREVER. That's FOREVER, all in capitals, at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use that code, FOREVER, all in capitals. It's a great deal there from Manscaped. They've just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. And you can join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with that code FOREVER at manscaped.com. Pumas with a throw on the Griquas 22. Pumas breaking in the open side, and they've made some good ground. Griquas pillar defense missing there. They've got some momentum deep inside the Griquas 22. See what the Pumas can make of this if they can bag a third try and surely seal this game. They've swung it wide now for Shea, opting to go wide again through Williams. And bundled into touch on the right wing there, the Pumas. They go wide very early to the men from Mpumalanga. Griquas throw. Just about on their 5. And again, they've opted for that long throw, and Worked out well for them, but the Pumas are contesting on the ground. But penalty now to the Griquas, weren't showing daylight. Just over 12 minutes to play now. Griquas going to need something truly special. They've looked good when they've hung on to the ball for prolonged periods, but they just haven't. It's been few and far between. And again, another line out stolen by the Pumas. They've contested every one, and the Griquas have just been unable to deal with the pressure. They haven't been able to change their tactics, and their lack of awareness seems to have let them down here. Pumas booting it downfield as they have done all day. Controlled possession and territory so well today, the Pumas, through the boots of Eddie Fashia and Devin Williams. And it's been hacked by the Pumas. And the Griquas are scrambling on defense. They've managed to tidy it up. Just outside their 22 now, the Griquas. Again, losing more territory. And the Griquas clear through Whitehead. Pumas tracking back through Williams. They'll look to launch another counter. What will Williams do now? Surprise, surprise, he launches it long. Credit must be given to the way Jimmy Stonehouse, to the tactics employed by Jimmy Stonehouse, and the way his team have carried out those plans. The Griquas just haven't been able to. I mean, they're only, 7 points back, but they just don't look like they can get into this game. It seems to be a lot more than that. It's been a pretty comprehensive performance so far from the Pumas. Of course, there's still time left, but they've just been awarded another penalty, and the Griquas have been unable to adjust their game. Kevin Weatherall Thomas talking about Liverpool. I don't know, that's going to be a hell of a game. I can't decide whether I'm going to be watching the Premier League or the Sharks Western Province later. I think I might have to opt for the Currie Cup as the Griquas make some changes. Pumas scrum with 10 minutes to play. So as it stands, both teams are in the semi-final spots. Pumas would finish third and the Griquas fourth. A huge scrum from the Griquas, goodness me. And they've won a penalty. That is an enormous shove from that new front row. Depending on what happens later between the Sharks and Western Province at Kings Park, Western Province lose, Griquas and the Pumas will face the Sharks and the Bulls in the Currie Cup semi-finals next week. As we look again at this enormous scrum from the Griquas. So the Griquas with a line out on the Pumas 5, they've managed to secure it. Again, pretty scrappy though. More players coming in to support, so they're going for it. But the Pumas have managed to stop them just short, so the Griquas have to use it. They've broken blind and they've been bundled into touch. Impatience on attack there from the Griquas, perhaps. Wasn't much room to work with. Although the Pumas' defense could have been offsides there. So the Griquas will take a quick tap now. Still remain on the Pumas 5. And they're taking it into contact, the Griquas. They're making some inroads so that they can yet come away with this game after thumping Western Province last week. As things stand, the Pumas, of course, in third and the Griquas fourth, but that could change if the Griquas manage to score here. So they've got an advantage now, still in the 5, and they're spreading it wide. And the Griquas are over. Wow. 11-13 now. That's their first try of the afternoon with a kick to come to tie it up. Chris Hollis. Some good decision making. Fantastic cheeky little offload there in the midfield. George Whitehead now with a kick. To level the scores. 72.5 minutes gone here. Seeing some late drama at Tafellager Park in Kimberley. And the Griquas have been very good with ball in hand when they've managed to keep it and be more patient with it. But the Pumas have done well to compete at the breakdown and just make things a bit scrappy for the Griquas. And this is Whitehead. He struck it well, and it's over. So 13-all. What a game this is. What it's lacked in quality, it's made up for in excitement and drama. 13-all as we approach 74 minutes. Griquas, without really having played too much rugby, effectively, are still in with a shout here. There was a crucial moment in the first quarter where the Griquas had a man sent to the bin for 10 minutes and Pumas were unable to score a single point in that time. Crucial moment in the game. And the Pumas have made a break and they're all floating now to the middle of the park and they're inside the Griquas half now. Got some quick ball, opted to go to the left, and Foucher's put a little dab through. And there's a big collision inside the Griquas 22, but they've managed to hang on to it. But now it's been turned over from the Pumas. And the Pumas have an advantage. And that's a penalty to the Pumas. That's a great option by Foucher with another little clever kick through. It's the second time the Pumas have done that today. And with 5 minutes to go, less than 5 minutes, Pumas have a penalty on the angle inside the Griquas 22. So as things stand, then the Griquas are back in third, 1 point ahead of the Pumas, with Western Province in fifth place, 4 points back. Another break in play. It's been a very physical, draining contest in Kimberley. And it's going to be another scrum to the Pumas inside the Griquas half, inside the Griquas 22, I should say. Griquas, of course, producing a phenomenal scrum a few minutes ago. See if they can replicate that now. The Pumas have got the put in. And it's another big scrum for the Griquas, but it's going to be a reset. So much pressure on both these teams now. So little to separate them. Pumas perhaps should have made more with the territorial advantage that they've enjoyed throughout most of this game. The Griquas have done well to stick it out. Pumas with the put in now. It's a big scrum by the Griquas, but the Pumas have come away with it, but it's been knocked on by the Griquas. And they could have another penalty here. Pumas have lost a lot of ground, but they'll come back for that penalty. Surely. They're back on their Griquas 10. But the referee is taking it back now. So they've got that penalty. With 3 minutes remaining, the clock's just struck 77 minutes. And the Pumas have a decision to make. Whitehead's going for the corner. So it's coming down to the wire here in Kimberley. Pumas line out. Deep inside the Griquas 22. And it's scrappy, but the Pumas have won it. Set pieces have been anything but well organized this afternoon. So the Pumas have it inside the Griquas 22, and they're taking it up through pods of forwards, and they're going to look to perhaps milk a penalty or look for some space. Just putting it through the phases at the moment. 2 minutes to play. That's a big carry by the Pumas. And again, Griquas would do well not to give a penalty away here. Still, the Pumas persevere, perspirate. Still, Both teams very patient here. Less than a minute to go. 13-all. Pumas still with the ball, still carrying it up inside the Griquas 22. And they've gone wide now. Cutting back in field are the Pumas. Griquas doing very well not to give away a penalty so far. But they're still under the cosh. Just being repelled time and again by this Griquas defense. Scott Matthew will be impressed by the way they've defended in this period so far. But now the Pumas are going wide, and Williams throws it a ball wide, and they've been tackled well again, but they've still got it as the clock strikes 80. So it's the 13th phase now. Remember, important for both teams to win this game, because if Western Province beat the Sharks later, the loser of this one will miss out on the place in semi-finals. So much to play for, and the Pumas have knocked it on. And it looks like it's going to be a draw. There's Edward Cater. There's some fisticuffs going on here. Massive brawl breaking out. But I think the ref is blown for full time. Both teams involved in some proper scrap, but that's the end of the game. So it ends at 13-all. Fantastically well contested game. And in the end, nothing to separate them. So we'll have to wait for the result of the Sharks game later on to see whether these two teams make it to the semi-finals. But I think every non-Western Province fan in South Africa will be hoping that that is the case. So full time then at Tafellaga Park in Kimberley, 13-all. Stalemate between the Griquas and the Pumas. And thanks for tuning in to Forever Sports. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Proudly brought to you by Manscaped. And thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll chat again soon. This is Sean Goosen. Cheers.